Am I the idiot for kicking out my parents for never telling me about my half-sister? I, 28, love my parents. They've always been great to me, loved me and supported me until all this happened. They've been staying with me and my wife since we had a baby to help out, and if I'm being honest, it has been a great help having them around. Yesterday my dad asked me to get the mail from his place after work so he can pay his bills. Well, I got the mail and most of it is bills and ads but one actual letter. I didn't think anything of it and gave it to my dad. He apparently threw it out, but my wife noticed it in the trash and read it. She didn't know what it was when she saw it. She brought it to me and it was addressed to my dad as father, so obviously my half-sister. She's pregnant and asking for money because it's harder for her to make it and she just wants to support her baby. I confronted my parents and yeah, she's 21-ish, born from my dad's affair. He gave her money until she graduated. She's writes him letters. She's apparently not in college cause she's broke and he thinks she's stripping or doing sex work. He doesn't even know for sure. He just told me he's done supporting her and she isn't his responsibility. We talked more about it for half an hour. My mom was quiet and my dad has never been like that. I don't even know the word to describe how he was. It just made me so freaking angry I made them leave right there without even taking their things back. Cause it feels like it's my fault. I have a sister out there who's living like garbage while I'm out here enjoying my life. After looking into her a bit more, I talked to 2 cousins 2 hours ago and they're both divided on if I did the right thing. One cousin thinks I was an idiot for making my parents leave without talking things through or even making a plan, but her sister thinks I did the right thing. My wife told me she's staying out of it since she regrets reading somebody else's mail. I just don't know myself. I feel like an idiot for making my parents leave cause I love them so much, but at the same time I feel so mad over the situation. Edit. Since people are wondering if my mom knew because she was so quiet, she knew everything. Update. I want to thank everyone who said to go talk to my parents. That's the first thing I did. I went to their place and I tried to talk to them. But it was frustrating and my mom got angry when I said I was going to reach out to my sister. She asked why I cared and I got upset and told her because she taught me to. My dad saw me out after that and surprised me by telling me he was proud of me for being a better man than him. That was weird. Anyway, my wife reached out to my sister Anna and she agreed to meet. We went with my cop friend Joe cause you never know. We met Anna in her apartment and it's on the rough side of town. It's tiny and a poop place to live. Anna's a small, quiet girl who works in a library. She reminds me of my gran. She claims she's only a waitress at a strip club to make ends meet. Obviously she can't do it now. She said she's failed like her mom and the best thing she can do is have her kid succeed. She said she just wanted cash to take pregnancy classes. I gave her my number and some cash, of which she gave a lot back right away. That night my wife asked if I could let Anna move in cause she felt heartbroken. I gave Anna the offer but she refused and said she won't take advantage of us. About a month later she phoned me crying and said there's black mold in her building and she has to go. She came to us with barely anything, just clothes, a wallet, a toothbrush and a sack of old books. Since then she's just been sad and really alone because she thinks she's taking advantage. She tries to help with chores a lot and always apologizes. She's only happy when she plays with our baby. But it was her birthday a few days ago and she asked if we'd get her cupcakes. It was like she expected me to say no. But my wife went and got them in a whole DQ cake while I got her the box set of The Expanse books. She started crying and hugged us both when she saw everything on the living room table for her. In the days since, she has seemed happier and I won't lie, I'm worried for her but I do think stability has helped her. As for my parents, my mom refuses to come as long as she is there, so I visit her with the baby sometimes. My dad refuses to go because he says he's ashamed. Whatever, I guess. On the other hand, my wife's parents told me they are more proud of me than ever. Not the idiot. You're a far better person than your parents are. Your wife is as well. You're both loving and giving and both your half-sister and baby are very lucky to be in your lives. Not the idiot. At least your dad got one thing right. You're a better man than he is. And special shout out to your wife for opening her home and heart to this woman who is essentially a stranger to her. I hope you take some time to show her how much you appreciate her support in this. All 3 of you are very lucky to have each other. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for blocking my adopted daughter's birth mother? I have an adopted daughter, let's call her Mimi. She is 11 now and I adopted her when she was 7. She was a foster placement with me and my husband at the time since she was 5. My ex-husband and I have joint 50/50 custody of her. She has a wonderful stepmother and me and her father typically co-parent very amicably. Mimi's birth mother, Kelsey, fake name, lives nearby, but has spent nearly all of Mimi's life strung out to the point of total incoherency. When we first adopted Mimi, we were very supportive of Kelsey having supervised visitation, and we made an effort to invite her to all of Mimi's big events, as Mimi very much loved her birth mother and wanted Kelsey in her life. Kelsey has proven time and time again that she either doesn't care enough about Mimi to show up, devastating my daughter, or will show up high and become belligerent, or pass out, which is traumatic for Mimi to witness. 2 years ago Kelsey disappeared. Mimi slowly stopped asking about her, and it felt like our lives could move on. Last week, we were contacted by Kelsey's current boyfriend, who told us Kelsey wanted to visit with Mimi. I told her I would only allow it if Kelsey contacted me personally, and we could set up an official supervised visitation schedule through Mimi's caseworker. Kelsey messaged me on Facebook to call me a controlling witch who stole her daughter, told me I'm a racist piece of poop. Mimi is not the same race as I am, and that I'm depriving Mimi of knowing about her racial roots. Not true. I blocked her and told my ex to block her as well and not entertain her. My ex is saying I'm an idiot for writing Kelsey off, and that I am depriving Mimi of a link to her ethnicity and her birth family. I view it as protecting Mimi from an unstable woman. I have not told Mimi and my ex wouldn't involve Mimi, she's too young. But am I the idiot for what I did? Update. I want to thank everyone who commented on the original post for giving me advice. I was feeling unsure of myself after my ex sided with Kelsey, as when we were married, he was always the more level-headed partner, and I could let emotions get the best of me. I got a lot of reassurance that I was doing the right thing. But a lot of people also said I shouldn't block Kelsey out forever, and if she really was taking steps to be better for Mimi, that I should allow her supervised visits. I fully agreed with that, and had been planning to unblock Kelsey and FaceTime with her, hoping I could better discuss my response before, and we could hopefully talk face to face, over FaceTime, not in person. Important note, I'm not a woman. I'm a man. I didn't mention it before, because it literally didn't matter, but it will matter, so I thought I'd make that clear. My ex and I are both bisexual cis men. I am not currently dating anyone, man or woman. So, Kelsey did end up contacting my ex. He texted her because he was against blocking her out. She was incredibly kind to him in their messages and seemed very level-headed and genuinely reformed from her old ways. But after asking my ex if we could work out a schedule where she had supervised visits, and then one day could have unsupervised visits, she dropped a bomb that exploded her chances of ever being able to see Mimi again. She told my ex that I was an F-slur to my ex-husband, said she preferred talking and dealing with him because he divorced me and married a woman. My ex-husband may be thick-headed, but he's not an idiot, so we blocked her then. We met up that day so he could show me the screenshots and discuss our moves going forward, and we're unanimous. We won't allow our daughter, who loves having two dads and a stepmom, to be around a homophobic person. So, that's that. I also privately brought the issue up with our family therapist, and she helped me address the issue and my reasons with Mimi in our session that week. Mimi was disappointed to hear what had happened, but not surprised. My heart breaks for my daughter. I wish none of this had happened, but I'm astounded by her maturity and resilience. She is such a strong young lady. We are also looking into revising our custody schedule so that Mimi can spend an extra weekend at her father's a month, as she was interested in expanding the time she spent with her stepmother, who is the same race as Mimi. Thank you again for taking the time to give me advice, and well, I guess in the end, it didn't matter. She made the choice easier by dropping a slur and showing her true colors. What can you do? Not the idiot. You gave the birth mother away to see the daughter. You aren't keeping her away from your daughter at all. You're just ensuring that she can't be strung out when they're visiting with each other. Not the idiot. You gave her plenty of chances to be a part of your daughter's life. She has no right to send you disrespectful messages when you're the one loving and raising a child she brought into this world. You should explain this to your daughter thoroughly when she is old enough, though. Give her all the information she needs and allow her to make a decision on whether or not she wants this person to be a part of her life. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for not sharing an intimate detail of my sex life with my mom? My wife, female 30, and I, male 30, have been together for almost 12 years and married for almost 8. My wife has always wanted kids, but only within the last few years have I felt I would be ready for parenthood. Our parents would always ask about kids and we would always give a vague response like we're ready now, so hopefully it'll be soon. The problem for us has been that my wife had a condition called vaginismus. For those who don't know what that is, it causes the vaginal muscles to be very tight and it makes sex painful or even impossible. We struggled for years not even knowing this condition existed, and last year my wife finally started physical therapy. After starting physical therapy, my wife told her mom about our situation because she felt like she needed someone to talk to other than me, which I was completely okay with. The only other people who know about our situation are a couple of her close friends and a couple of my close friends. Over the last few years, when we've said we're ready for a kid, my mom would always make the most comments about kids, including talking about making sure we were prepared in regards to nutrition, prenatal vitamins, etc., and got us a couple books in the same vein as what to expect when you're expecting. My wife at one point had suggested that we tell my mom about our situation because she felt that my mom was becoming worried, thinking that we had been trying to get pregnant for a couple years. I'm not nearly as close to my mom as my wife is with hers, so it felt weird to me to share such an intimate detail with her. Now here's the problem. We recently announced to our parents, over Zoom due to COVID, that we were pregnant, and of course everyone was thrilled. My mother-in-law accidentally slipped up and said something about being proud of us for overcoming our obstacle. She knew my mom didn't know, but I don't blame her for the slip-up. It's easy to say something without thinking when you're excited. Naturally, my mom wanted to know what she was referring to, and so we had to tell her. She blew up at us saying that she had been so worried for us and how we could not tell her. On one hand, I get where she's coming from, that she was concerned for us, but at no point did we explicitly tell anyone that we were actively trying to get pregnant. and in my opinion, it's an incredibly intimate detail and no one is entitled to that information. I imagine part of her reaction was also due us telling my mother-in-law but not her. I haven't been able to talk to her since this happened though. My friends and her friends are a bit split on the subject and I wanted to get some outside perspective. So Reddit, am I the idiot? Update. My wife and I decided we would give my mom a couple days to cool down before we reached out to her again. But she actually reached out to us first asking to talk. She started off immediately apologizing for how she reacted on the last call. She said that she thought we had been trying to have a kid for a few years and had been really concerned, especially since we didn't seem to be concerned at all. She had me in her mid-30s and regretted having kids so late, so she was worried we were going to wait too long and discover some infertility issue. She also said that since I was her only child, my wife was like the daughter she never had. My wife had even let her help plan the wedding. So when she heard that she had been left out, it made her realize that she wasn't as close to my wife as she thought, and the combination of emotions cued her over the top reaction. After having time to think about it and talk about it with my dad, she realized how much she messed up. She really was truly sorry for how she acted and ruining what had been such a special moment. This wasn't one of those "I'm sorry you were offended" type apologies. She didn't try to pass off her reasons as excuses, but just for us to understand the emotions that were at play for her. Overall, we had a really good conversation and we apologized as well for leading her on and not directly telling her that we weren't actively trying to be a kid for years because we were embarrassed about our situation. There were many tears shed, both happy and sad, but I'm happy to say that everything is now back to normal. I always think to myself how many situations on this sub wouldn't even be issues if people just communicated better, and I guess I can now add myself to that list. No idiots here. The fact she realized it was a bad reaction to an emotionally charged situation and she reached out first is amazing. I can imagine that moment when she calmed down and went I just yelled at my daughter-in-law because she didn't give me updates on the status of her vagina. How do I bring this up without making it more awkward?